It is exactly 8:56 a.m. and we are now going to be joined by the Executive Director at Ashraful Aid, and that is you, Moulana Suhail Wadee, to talk about the Global Muslim Content Summit. Very interesting for me because I'm in that space as well. So I'm wondering where this is going to take us, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome to the program.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So let's kick off with the all important question. What is the GMC Summit 2025?
So the GMC Summit 2025 is it's a summit of content creators from globally, focusing on Muslim content creators. So some of the biggest names in the industry have gathered. Like One Path Network were the host, as well as many podcasters, influencers, many shuyukh, many media houses, Muslim media houses that have converged in Kuala Lumpur to discuss and to collaborate and to engage with one another in terms of and to share experiences in terms of content creation and media.
Can you just, I don't have that information on my runner here, but when has this conference happened already, or is it still going to be happening sometime soon?
It happened over the weekend on Saturday and ended yesterday, Sunday.
Hmm.
Alhamdulillah, it was very well attended. I think there were people, speakers, and attendees from around 40 countries globally. And it was really amazing to meet with so many people in person. Obviously, we know most of them, via social media, and to meet them personally and to engage with different people and different content creators. Alhamdulillah, it was really an amazing experience.
So, what were the type of strategies being brought up regarding the actual conference and to take Islamic content to the next level? And we do know that we're almost the largest community as Muslims globally because we number almost 2 billion. And I'm kind of wondering if we do put out the correct messages via whichever platform that we use or platforms that we use, we could make a very, very meaningful difference. So, what came through regarding that issue at the conference? And by the way, did you attend as well? Suhail, I think you didn't hear my question.
Uh, yes. If you could kindly repeat that, will be
Okay.
appreciated.
All right. Number one, did you attend the conference? And number two, where is this taking us as a global ummah? We know that we are almost 2 billion strong globally as Muslims. So if we are speaking and pushing the same type of narratives, we could be and would be a force to be reckoned with. What is it that's kind of still holding us back?
I think there were many very interesting facts. So looking at it from a global point of view, obviously most of these of the platforms and narratives, are being shaped by your mainstream media or legacy media, but for the first time, it's individual content creators that are actually starting to shift public opinion. So if you have to look at the Palestinian issue, it's content creators from Gaza that is actually shifting the narrative globally. And in terms of So that power has been now decentralized, and what you rightly said, that if we start working together, and there are similar narratives or correct narratives that are then shared, it really becomes very, very impactful. But what's very interesting also is that looking at, you mentioned we 2 billion Muslims, and this summit was in English, but the English market from a global point of view is only 0.6%.
Yeah.
So there is lots of opportunity, and so for example, some Turkish media houses, they have multiple languages, so it's Arabic, Spanish, Portuguese, multiple languages, Chinese. So the market is still very, very huge, but obviously it requires us to think in, changing our paradigm of thinking, as well as looking at those opportunities.
Okay, so you're talking about a very big untapped market as far as Muslim media and Muslim content is concerned. And you've also spoken about how we can grow the market. Let's look at the impact, and undoubtedly, this conference or this summit was a wonderful opportunity to network. That's the one part of my question. And then, of course, we also know it can be and must be and should be very, very empowering. It can radically change um, the mindset of Muslim youth, alhamdulillah. So that's a beautiful opportunity for us as well. And then let's also talk about how, when we create content, how we can monetize it. Because if you can't get anything out of it, you're not going to attract a huge market in the sector.
Yeah, so that was what was spoken about, is how do you monetize, in terms of revenue. And there are various ways. Also, how do you grow your brand, and you're able to then scale your brand, which then will attract different revenue streams. So how to hack growth. And I think this was very, very, what was really amazing by the different presenters was their willingness to share, and to collaborate.
Let's look at the South African context. How well were we represented there, and what were the type of issues that were raised by us as South African content creators?
So, Alhamdulillah, there was a substantial amount of South African delegates that attended. But there's also, in terms of people, many of the presenters, were actually South African, or South African. They started off in South Africa, and then migrated to other parts of the world. So, for example, Yusuf Umar, who was in South Africa, Naima B. Roberts, Ziad Minty, Riyad Minty. So, which have South African roots. So they were, Alhamdulillah, so the South African engagement was quite high. There weren't too many South African media attendees. We've come from, as Ashraful, more from the humanitarian space, and our objective is more in terms of creating content and sharing the messages of the underserved communities, and how can we do that in a profound way. So that was in terms of our objective of coming. But in terms of many of the media houses from South Africa, I think, especially on the Muslim community, I think that was a bit lacking.
Okay, I'm actually quite disappointed. I was not aware of this because I certainly would have wanted to have attended, but be that as it may, next time around, inshallah. When they spoke about creating a content creation, what sort of understanding was there amongst the delegates regarding the type of content that is going to be relevant, important, and to grow our community? Was that raised at all?
Yes, so I think what was the overall arching was, what's the intent? What's our near as content creators? And obviously, that obviously should be for the pleasure of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, to for the message of Islam to permeate society. There needs to be authenticity, because you can get likes doing things in a very un-Islamic way. But what are the Islamic ethos and authenticity that underlines us creating content? So I think that came very strong in terms of the intention, and also in terms of things like consistency, things like being authentic, and also ensuring that with this growth, there's the values of Islam are not compromised.
And having said that, the compromising of Islamic values, it's really very, very important. And we know at the rate social media is growing, and also AI being on the scene, you can get a lot of fake news as well. So, regarding Islam and the type of content we share, the correct and the authentic narratives regarding our beautiful deen, alhamdulillah, we could get misled by a lot of fake news regarding dawah, deen, etc. Are we Will we have a body, perhaps, trying to monitor the stuff that goes out? And I know that's a huge, huge ask, but and also given that young minds sometimes at the price of fame and fortune would put out anything, would spew out anything just to be famous, to get X amount, hundreds of thousands of hits and become famous overnight, at the risk of putting out um, fake news or incorrect news regarding Islam and Muslims as a whole.
Yeah, so in terms, obviously, current, I don't think we're there as yet. I think the first part is actually creating, as Muslims, our own media, because we have to look at it from a broader perspective. So claiming our narratives, and in terms of Islam, you know. The brother Malaz, who was the organizer of the event, he did a research paper, and he showed that in that one year there were like around, I think, 2 to 5 thousand articles, stigmatizing Muslims. So I think the first step obviously is to, from the broader point of view, is to reclaim, to reclaim the narrative. And I think from there, that would be a starting point. And then obviously, there are many Dawa institutes that were there, very credible Dawa institutes, that can ensure that the correct content is being posted.
We're going to leave it there, but any important final words you'd like to share with our viewers this morning, right here on Salam Media?
I think the social media space is, it has become mainstream, and almost every person's got a cell phone. They consuming content, they consuming media. If you're looking at Gen Z, we have to look at different audiences, and I think it's important for us, especially for media houses, Islamic content creators. There's lots of opportunity, and if done right, you can really have a very positive impact in society.
Inshallah,
Inshallah.
undoubtedly, we'll be hearing more about this global summit. I should imagine there is going to be communication going out regarding what was shared at the summit, and probably this will become an annual event.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Suhail Wadee, lovely talking with you, Executive Director at Ashraful Aid, and you guys continue doing the amazing work you do at your organization, and that is upliftment work, and that, of course, is at Ashraful Aid. Lots of du'as to one and all. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
10 minutes after 9 o'clock, welcome to the second hour of News and Views right here on Salam Media. And a reminder that this hour of News and Views is brought to you by Africa Muslims Agency. And also a reminder that our Fired Up series with Hafiz Imran Chunara, the personal excellence mentor and CEO of Africa Muslims Agency, will be sharing some pearls of wisdom with us in the Fired Up series. 11 after 9 o'clock, we'll be back with you in a minute or two with Dr. Faisal Sullivan, and he is the chairperson of SAMNet.